All right, my name is Joseph Pacheco, and my presentation is going to be based on the Rooney Rule. In this presentation, I'm going to be going in depth what the Rooney Rule is and my position on if it's either been effective or not in the NFL. Established in 2003, the NFL adopted the Rooney Rule, where they had a historically low number of minorities in the head coaching positions. It was named after the then chairman of the committee, Dan Rooney, the late owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The policy required every team with a head coaching vacancy to interview at least one diverse candidate before making a new hire. Which leads to the question, has the Rooney Rule proven effective over the years in the NFL? Given now that it's 2024, there has been some spikes and some ups and downs and some controversy along the rules. Entering the 2003 NFL season, teams found themselves hiring at least 3 minority head coaches, with the 3 coaches being Marvin Lewis from the Cincinnati Bengals, Tony Dungy from the Indianapolis Colts, and Herm Edwards from the New York Jets, all soon to be Hall of Famers in the National Football League. According to a Business Insider statistical graph, it shows the number of minority head coaches in the NFL. Now, prior to the Rooney Rule, there have been an average about 3 minority head coaches in the NFL. Since then, the Rooney Rule has been established. The numbers have skyrocketed, actually, peaking at 8 minority head coaches. Now, given that this graph stopped at 2017, I did a bit of my own research from 2018 and 2023, and the average still was about the same in terms of the number of minority head coaches in the NFL. Although from the statistical standpoint, the numbers look great in terms of minority head coaches in the NFL, there still have been some conflicting issues that arise throughout the years. One most recent controversial issue is the Brian Flores discrimination lawsuit against the NFL, where he quoted saying that the Rooney Rule is not working because management is not doing their interviews in good faith. Now, of course, prior to that lawsuit, there are events that built up to that. Back in January 2019, when he was subjected for an interview with the Denver Broncos, it was soon later to find out that it was a sham interview, according to Brian Flores. And during his tenure with the Miami Dolphins, owner Stephen Ross offered to pay Flores to purposely lose games, securing a higher pick in the NFL draft, and which created issues between the two. And then not too long ago, in January 2022, Belichick accidentally texted Flores congratulating him on winning the job, which exposed the Giants, who had already decided to hire now coach Brian Daboll 3 days before the Flores interview. Even after the whole controversial issue, the NFL still took matter in its own hands, and they answered with a pretty good response. They changed their policies, which before required every team with the head coaching vacancy to interview at least one minority candidate before making a new hire. They expanded to requiring teams to now interview at least 2 external minority head candidates for all head coaching positions. Some other updates that also required is that at least one external minority candidate for a coordinator job is required to be interviewed. Also, a female candidate must be interviewed for a senior level position. And come to find out, a team can receive a 3rd round compensatory pick for 2 years if a developed minority talent went on to become a general manager or a head coach for a different NFL team. Pretty much incentives to follow regulations. Now, with that being said, now in the present time, entering the 2024 NFL season, there's been a positive difference in terms of the head coaching minorities now than there was in 2003, where the numbers have increased just by a bit. Currently, there are about 5 minority head coaches that have been with the team longer than 1 year. And now there's going to be 4 more minorities that are going to be newly hired to their newly allocated teams, which is a total of 9 minority head coaches. Now, which leads to the question, has the Rooney Rule proven effective over the years in the NFL? Even though the points point in favor to the Rooney Rule being effective. Personally, I don't think it has reached its intended result successfully. Given that the matter that in a statistical standpoint, it's good, it's increased the number of minority coaches, it has spread influences not only in the NFL but in other leagues such as the NHL, the MLB, and the NBA. It has opened doors such as loopholes that coaches like Bill Belichick or the Miami Dolphins can get around the system while meeting the requirements for the Rooney Rule. It also raises a lot of red flags such as race-based hiring policies, which can be challenged in court. And personally, the consistency of terminations pattern that results in the number of minority head coaches leading to the teams never surpassing more than 10 in a single season. Yes, this year has been a good year for the Rooney Rule based on the record of 9 minority head coaches. It has never reached over 10 based off the organizations continually firing and rehiring coaches. Given both sides on the position of either the Rooney Rule has been effective in the NFL or not, personally, it has made change throughout the decades, but it still has room for improvement, and it hasn't reached its end goal in sustaining a well balanced, equal opportunity for minority head coaches.